All right, now, Nigeria in time past has experienced, of course, funds being stolen, where monies stolen were repatriated back into Nigeria, and then they were not well accounted for. We know how the Abacha loot went and all. Yeah. Now, President Buhari is saying he wants to get this sums of money back, $150 billion. Are you assured, are you confident that President Buhari's integrity is enough for this money, if he gets the money, to be well utilized in Nigeria?
That's where we're talking about being explicit. So you tell us you're going to get $150 billion back. You don't tell us how or when. And then you don't tell us exactly what you're going to do with the money. At that point, a lot of people start to doubt you. A lot of people start to question not your integrity, but your competence. And that is a very sad thing because, as I say, he's a very respected statesman. What he needs to do is tell us these things. I mean, I can't speak for the president. I'm not his spokesman. But I will tell you this. If he is as, integral as he has been portrayed to be, then what he needs to do now is come out and say, 150 billion, 10 billion is going to go to this, 10 billion is going to go to that, 15 billion is going to go to this, so that he can be held accountable. When somebody doesn't tell you anything, how do you... The truth of the matter is I don't really hear much coming from those quarters. So something is obviously wrong with the system. Now, I said this earlier this morning off air as well. I said there's no smoke without fire. If AMCON has been under attack, and they're not new to controversy, if they've been under attack for the past 5 years almost, then you have to question the existence of the organization. Whether they're duplicating CBN services, as I said, CBN would be in a very good position to answer that. A financial expert would be in a very good position to answer that. But from a layman's perspective, I can clearly see that something is wrong. The boat is rocking. There's something leaking here. The boat is sinking. And they are not paying attention. When the IMF came on board and made their recommendation, there was a lot of political comments. The IMF is handling also the European market, which is not doing very well. The IMF is this, the IMF is that. And that's true. But if your house is on fire, and somebody else's house is on fire, and he says, my friend, your house is on fire, and you say, I won't listen to you because your house is on fire, who loses? At the end of the day, if IMF has, as far as they've been in the industry for this long, is telling you something is wrong, you need to look into it. It's your duty to do that, not to sit and give defensive comments, but to actually prove your value. And I say this all the time in business strategy, commentary. If you cannot prove your value, you will lose your job. Now, one key area that the president focused on, President Obama focused on, was small businesses, micro businesses. Most people don't realize it, but micro businesses and small businesses are actually the key runners of many economies. And they ignore them. They call them the informal sector. They don't treat them properly. But if President Obama can see the value in these people, then it's time for our own African governments to also see the value. If they invest in these people, no matter what cadre they are, no matter what strata they are, if they invest in them and give them some space and time to grow, perhaps making a taxation, easing taxation on these kinds of people, creating more conducive environments for them to work in, and particularly I want to touch on something that President Obama also touched on: technology and internet growth in Africa. There's a statistic that says Africa has 1 billion people on the internet as we speak. That's a massive growth. However, a lot of people are ignoring it. President Obama is not. He's pointed it out, and I hope the African leaders, follow suit.
Let's start with Kunle. The role of women, because we have a tape already that's been produced showing various women, prominent women in Nigeria that have done so much. But what do you think the role of women going forward, especially vis-a-vis this new ministerial list that we're seeing that only, for speculation, it looks like just a few women have been represented. What are your thoughts?
Well, I have to be very honest and say the first and foremost for me is somebody who can deliver.
Okay.
It's more important for me than the gender. But, we have to also be fair to the gender, the female gender, in the sense that the female gender hasn't been given that opportunity over the years, over many years, to showcase what skills and talents, and expertise they can bring to the table. So I agree with that point of view, as Mary rightly said earlier. But I also don't want us to make the mistake of focusing so much on the women that we now forget the men completely.
Okay, there's this thing that says that once a woman is very, very prominent in social issues, her home lacks.
True.
Or family, something has to give.
Yes.
Something has to give.
Something has to give.
In that kind of situation, because now, do we say because we want women to be empowered, we leave the home front? Let me let Mary attack that, because that's always an issue. Yes, you're talking about women and emancipation, part of it, but wouldn't something suffer for that? Mary.
So before Mary goes to that, I think I need to say this, that if you have women in the forefront coming out to speak out and do these things, then the men need to step up and back them up. That's the most important part of it.
Really?
Yes.
You step back and back a woman.
Of course.
Okay. Kunle, let me let you go ahead. What are your thoughts? Are we really equal?
No. You know, it's a controversial topic at best. If we want to go from... No, I want to be as frank as possible. If we want to go from the physical aspect of things, we are not equal. Because we all know, according to, some scripture, the men have 9 ribs, the women have 7.
Tread carefully. You have women around you.
No, we have to be very frank.
Okay.
But at the same time, just as YK said, we are not equal intellectually as well. In many cases, women seem to have an edge. They seem to be able to control and manipulate men far easier than men can manipulate them. So, there's no equality per se. What I think is most important, however, is to give room for each, individual's capacity. That is what is most important.
Okay, because we have to round up very quickly. I'm sorry, guys. We can't take any more questions or comments. I do apologize. Our show is too short. I do apologize. But let me let Kunle have the last word. Then we'll come to tweets, right? Kunle, what are your final words on this?
Well, I have to be very frank and say that I agree with with Mary's point of view. However, as I was speaking about this with my brother just yesterday, and the point is this: we shouldn't make the mistake of pushing too hard. Because if you push too hard, then you have the opposite, the men reacting as well. We should bring women into the fold. We should encourage them. We should give them opportunities. But we should not drown out other voices. That's my view.